Alright, this is going to be the first of many to come for Help Me, Professor Kensou. The goal of this is to help you guys out learning things about fighting games, whatever your problems may be, and I'm here to help you solve that to the best of my ability, of course. So, very first one in here. So this one comes from AJ Wright, Avatar Legends. And his question is, what's the best way to learn Zuko if you're just picking up the game? So what would I do if I was learning Zuko? So first things first, naturally, when it comes to any fighting game, you pick the character you want to know, get over to Zuko, obviously. And in this case, we have a lot of different variations in this game. So better projectiles, if you want to zone better with him, faster ground movement, very obvious what it does. Then there's better dive kicks, which me personally, I like the movement options behind it. So me personally, I would probably pick better dive kicks, but naturally you should try each one of these out and see what works for you. Generally speaking, it just depends on the matchup with Zuko, in my honest opinion. But just starting out, me personally, since I like the mobility and I know what this does with better dive kicks, because you can flow cancel these, I would pick this. And the defensive character doesn't really matter here. Pick a cool stage. We love Ba Sing Se. And we got good old Zuko. So it's obviously, you start out with the general things, right? Knowing what your buttons do, right? So Zuko's jab is really strong. And to my knowledge, it's a really decent anti-air. But just knowing how far your buttons hit is very important. How close you need to be. And training, let's have to dummy a block for a second, just because it's actually pretty important. Because you want to know how far away your buttons connect. And for me, it's always good to check things on block. Because sometimes the way moves hit is a little weird. But in this case, crouching light hits from pretty far away in comparison to standing light. So this lets me know already, okay, I can probably approach with this because it has a lot of range and it's pretty fast, right? And we're just checking more of the normals, seeing how far away they hit. So that flame on Zuko standing B is pretty far, so we can actually poke from here. And the good thing is we can also apply that with our dash as well. So I just tend to check these things, where did my buttons hit at the max range? Stand C does hit from this far, that's a-okay, but we're not gonna use it for that. 2, 3, cool, good to know. He also has a command normal, back B. So already this looks like anti-air, right? So clearly we're not really gonna use this to poke with, unless we go using it in block strings, right? So that's a-okay. And since this game also lets you do flow cancels off of your command normals, I would check and see how flow works with his command normals and his lights, right? So there's also your jumping normals. Okay, jump A. Basically, it's just about checking your normals and seeing how things work, right? Building a game plan around your normals is also important. Knowing what to open up with, what to poke with based on the ranges and stuff like that. You can use this move, it is a little slow, but you can stick with down B. It's faster, it is a medium. Work with your dash. And moves like these, you may want to, come from further out with to try to counter poke their anti-approach, right? If they're trying to press a button on you on your approach, then you would try to smack them with this or this. Since the flame explosion has a big box on it, which is why I pointed out to this normal versus this one. And with this, etc, etc. Like learning what you need to use on your approach. You can also use crouching light to stop their approach, standing medium to stop theirs, this as well. Like these work in conjunction in terms of offense and defense. So you just gotta pick and choose. And as you play, you're gonna figure out which buttons to press at what timings and whatnot. Timing is a whole nother thing we talk about, but I think that's too much for just starting out. And always remember, one of the biggest things I want to push here is like, there's no right or wrong. It's more about what's needed for the moment, right? So there's a definite thing where it can be like, oh, well, this was a bad decision. Well, based on many factors, this could be a bad decision because you got hit, right? For example. But remember, no matter what, maybe this tool wasn't right for this situation. Maybe the air throw was more preferred, or this button anti-air, or maybe you can dash underneath them. There's always a lot of questions you can ask, but that's as you get better with the character. Just know that starting out, this is kind of like your core, period. Checking movement as well. Walk speed's all right. Forward and backwards seems pretty all right. Backdash is pretty okay. His dash is pretty decent, going forward, going backwards. So it's just kind of just getting used to moving around with the character, seeing how things like work, right? Checking staggers. I'll just do simple things, right? And why I start this way in training mode is because I'm not interested in combos, right? I would tell you don't worry about combos starting out. Get used to the feel of the character. Once you're used to the feel of the character, then it makes more sense, you know, once you start practicing combos. I don't even worry about how things work on hit. I think more, how am I gonna string together offense, right? Because I think if you worry about combos first, you're gonna fixate too hard on that. Instead, I think you should work on your approach. So I would also check and see things on block, right? So for example, let's see, we go to recording settings, go to recording slot 4. I would check the auto combo and see how this would look on block. So now we're that far out. Can we punish them? See how far we can punish the light. Okay, so that means we can't use that. It's too negative. Not a good look there. We can come back here. And why is that? This move is 8 frames. This move is 12. Too slow. Sweep could also work too. Might be okay from that range, because it goes underneath the standing jab. So you see what I'm saying? So I kind of practice this way. Like, I learn how the character works in terms of offense first before I look at combos. Then there's also the movement aspect of them. So as I mentioned before, when you do the dive kick, so down in C or down in any of your attacks, just get a better idea of just how to move. Because also his air down flow lets you turn around. So, you know, that automatically changes how you approach, how you attack, right? So this is why I would take the time out to figure this out first before touching a single combo trial. So once you get an understanding of all this, your options, all your special moves and everything, it makes more sense like how you should, at least to me, how you should approach. Learn all your options with your special moves also. Because clearly he has a bunch of different things he can do with all his specials, right? Now, I would also add another caveat to it and go for like anti-airs, right? Jab. Because I need to know what it looks like for anti-airing. Set that recording slot. Check my ranges. How close do I need to be to make this button hit? Okay. Back B. Okay, back B hits kind of high up, so that's a little bit more reliable. And since it's also a command normal, you can also try to make it work with flow. Try to get an anti-air combo. So I look at these things to try to win fundamentally first, again, before diving deep into like combo structure and stuff like that. Again, it takes some time to figure out how early or how late you need to press that button also. And there's also knowing the range. Do you need to dash up to try to make it connect, right? Do you have time to make it connect? Or just air throw them. You know, check what it looks like to move around with them and like air throw. Because you do have that as an option in this game, because air throws are really strong in Avatar. And I've already gotten used to like the special moves, the movement, the flow cancels and stuff like that. Then I will take to the trial mode, because by then my hands would have already been used to like what they're capable of doing, just from a general sense. And then just start from the top. You know, it doesn't matter that these are like, bro, it's an auto combo. Why am I doing auto combo? It's irrelevant. You should learn it because you might need it. Whether it's bad or whatever, don't think about it that way, because auto combos have uses everywhere it goes in every fighting game that has them. So like I said, it doesn't matter. Like, if you didn't want to do any actual combos per se, especially if you're learning and just trying to get used to the game, this is okay. Like, don't ever look at auto combos as like, oh man, this is lame. Auto combos are pretty important no matter what, because they offer you another, you know, they offer another perspective in terms of your combos. So this is, what is this? No, it's still damage, and just do them all. Do not treat it as if you shouldn't do them, especially in this game, since it shows you how to get into damage. You know, So I'll come out of here just for a second. Once you clear those out, yeah, just go to the next ones. If you feel like you're comfortable, then get to the next ones. And I believe a lot of these combos with Zuko are pretty universal. And the cool part is in Avatar, it has the breakdown. So if you can't do the combo, you can sit here and do the breakdown. See? So you can just get used to it this way. I think this is one of the neatest parts about Avatar also, is that you can practice and get the rhythm for the combo without having to do it manually immediately. You can do this and keep building your muscle memory until you feel comfortable to do it. And just do it over and over until you get it right. It treats it basically like DDR. So you get perfect inputs and it's great. And if you get the perfect inputs, then that means you're doing it right. It makes it way easier for you to practice and just keep getting the rhythm. And it's the same even for the more advanced combos, right? So let's say you go to the master combos, right? Same thing. Do the breakdown. So yeah, and just spend time with this until you get comfortable, because there's literally no rush. You know, you can just take your time and just keep working at it. Don't think too hard about being perfect. Just keep working on it till you get it right. And then if you want, take it back into the training room, try other things. You know what I'm saying? Try some of the other variations and see if you might find something that might work for you. Now granted, obviously there will be a hierarchy in terms of which variation is stronger over the other, but that's up to you to discern what works for you and what doesn't. Like I said before, me personally, I would pick the flow dive kicks, or the better dive kick one, and just kind of go from there. You're not really losing out by trying things out, but most importantly, I think you should do everything pretty much in this steps. Don't get bored, don't lose your focus because you're not like seeing an immediate result. Go to the training room, get used to the buttons, get used to your specials, get used to your movement, build a slight game plan with how you're going to attack with your buttons, get used to attacking with your buttons, get used to anti-airing with your buttons, get used to your supers, all of that. Like, I didn't showcase that because I feel like that's kind of like straightforward. Like, you should get used to everything: special moves, normals, supers, flow movement, all that. You should get used to all that in the training room first. Then when you get out of the training room and you feel comfortable with them, come back here, hit the trials, and then just start from the top. This is pretty much a general flow that I do when I'm learning a new character every game. I always learn how they operate first before I touch a single combo trial. Combos should be like the last thing you learn when learning a new character. Always. Because you can get by with like just an ABC special move super and like beat people. You don't need to have like big fat big boy combos day one. Just something that's consistent that you can do until you can graduate to something more. You know, which is where Twitter comes into play. If you want to go look up the hashtags, you know, Avatar, #Avatar_Zuko, or whatever characters in which you're learning, so that you can make it easier on yourself and like see the combos. You know, I would tell you use the ones here in the combo trials because they're pretty decent for what it's worth. Most importantly is to have something that's reliable and stable for your hands, that you're comfortable landing, and I think you'll go pretty far with that alone, and just keep gradually upping your combo damage. So don't rush. It's not a rush to be at the top. Take your time. That's really what it boils down to. Take your time. Do not rush. You'll get there. Don't worry about if your opponent's landing like the craziest combos on you. You need to land the ones that you can land and focus on those. Roundabout, training room, learn your normals, learn your specials, learn your supers. Learn where you can press your buttons, where you can hit people. Learn your ranges, right? Basically, learn your ranges where you can hit them. Try to build a game plan around those normals. How you intend to approach, how you intend to defend. Once you get used to that, take it into the trials, learn some combos. No matter how simple or not, learn them. They're important. And once you feel comfortable with a solid set of combos that are reliable, your anti-airs are reliable, and you feel comfortable, then take it into matches, go from there. But yeah, that'll do it for this for now. If you have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comments below. Just talk to me. We can iron out more of this stuff out and get you guys on point. Definitely appreciate you for submitting this here for the first Help Me Professor Kensou. So I'm gonna get up out of here. I know the vibes. Peace.